Welcome to the U World Order Showcase podcast, where we feature life, health, and transformational coaches being the change they seek in the world. If you'd like to be featured on our podcast to share what you're contributing to making the world a better place for us all, please go to www.jointheuworldorder.com. Be sure to like and follow our podcast for the latest episodes. Hi, and welcome to the U World Order Showcase podcast. My name is Jill Hart. I'm your host, and with us today is Heather Fischer Page, who works with clients who are sensing a shift and wanting to step more fully into their life purpose, utilizing modalities such as human design, emotion release, spiritual energy healing, natural psychic, and mediumship skills to support them and help them get out of their own way by deconditioning old stories and layers and create a new way of being. And she's also a podcast host of the Integra Podcast. Welcome to the show, Heather. It's so great to have you with us.
Thank you so much for having me on your show. I'm excited to be here.
So how did you get started in all of this?
Wow. Oh, it's been such a journey. I had these gifts as a child, but they were, of course, tamped down. I was punished for them when I was a child, and during like an EFT session of all places, a huge memory of being punished for these skills came up. And I mean, my parents were doing the best they could. I mean, it can be scary, when your child tells them something that, they know. But I kind of shifted in, to like normal world activities, and really was dealing with some health issues and through my adult life, and really came to a point in my early 40s where I was diagnosed with three autoimmune issues, and chronic fatigue as one of them. And as I was like peeling back the layers, working with a functional nutritionist and energy healers and EFT and all of these different things, all these things started coming up for me. And I really had this aha moment. Oh, wow. Some of this, a lot of this is because of the trauma that's been in your life. And it really opened up those gifts more. I mean, they were there, in the 20s. I would like see spirits, but I like play it off, kind of play it off like, oh, that was a one-off thing or this or that. And allowing myself to be more open to it, and really connecting with it was such a huge healing for me. And so I began in functional nutrition because that seemed right at the time, early 40s. I was like, I'm gonna fix myself, I'm gonna fix the world. But I knew there was more. And so I started doing other modalities and adding those, as well as, experiential, and seeing how my intuition would really kind of kick in. And so I was like, oh, wow, this is kind of cool. This is a part of who I am. Of course, in functional nutrition, you always have to back up everything. So it was important to do that. But as I allowed myself to really flow with the other modalities, the human design, and then spiritual energy healing, it allowed me to really open up to everything, and also be seen in the world that way. I was helping people cross over spirits in their houses, for 20 years before I let people in the public know that I did that. And so it having these other tools allowed me to see, okay, it's okay to have these gifts and utilize them in this way. And as I really stepped in and didn't resist, is when I started having more vibrant health, because I was not resisting the connections and the thoughts and the pieces that were needed in the world. And so really having that opportunity has been amazing, and working with other practitioners for myself and also working with my clients is just, I mean, it just, sometimes I feel like it's just like a dream in a good way. It's this, I come out of my client appointments just so energized because I know I'm helping them and it's bringing them joy and helping them decondition, get rid of, let go of their trauma, and giving them tools to work forward. But also it gives me joy because that joy of service is so amazing. It's just, it's incredible. I remember even at 22 years old going, there's something more I'm supposed to be doing. I was working at an alternative news weekly and I'm like, there's something more, but I didn't know what it was at that time. And I know that everything hits at the right time, that divine timing is so important. So I feel really blessed that this is what I get to do every day.
That's awesome.
Thank
It's
you.
so awesome. And a couple of things come to mind. I started watching this movie called The Ghost Whisperer, or it's not even a movie, it's a TV show.
I love that show.
I love that show too.
Uh-huh.
It's really cathartic for me because I don't cry very often,
Yes.
but I allow myself to cry and to feel the emotions in that show because they're really good at evoking emotional responses from the audience,
Oh yeah.
um, which I find interesting. But the whole concept of there are beings around us that we can't often see that are still part of our lives. They're attachments that we have. Um, and it's a reminder to us that not everything as it seems, and not everybody sees the world the same way.
Right.
Because and she addresses the whole issue of the trauma that's induced or imposed upon people that operate in a different
Mm-hmm.
time space
Mm-hmm.
line of perception that
Yes. Yes.
um because it scares people.
It is. And it is scary. And it is scary for, me, when it first came to me, it was scary because I had had these moments where uh at 33 years old, I have a baby on my hip and I'm seeing spirits walking through my house in the form that they had passed. And it was a yeah, it was just these moments. And so it's hard for people to conceive of it. And so I actually turned off the gift of sight at that point because I was like, I can't deal. I've got one kid and I have another one on the way, and I can't be, doing this kind of work in this capacity because it's going to get in the way. But it can be scary for other people. When I actually shared that I was a psychic medium and that I did this kind of work, and a lot of people just, yeah, walked away from me. And I was like, you know what? That's okay. Because I had gotten to the point where I allowed myself to heal my own self-worth and my own self-lovability so that I knew the people leaving were just couldn't understand it. And, they left with grace and love. Sorry, I'm laughing because the cat is a part of this. She loves being in all of my appointments and energy healing work. She's a huge uh, a huge fan of it all. So I'm sure she's connecting into whatever's here right now. So yeah.
I have to ask you, does she hear?
Yes, she sees and she hears. Yeah, it's interesting because I will be in the morning are my what I call my office hours. I have do not disturb on with all beings throughout the day because I have to be able to work and live and be in everything. And there will be times when she is running around. She is loving whatever energy's going on. Okay, you just can't get on the keypad. And I'll hear her running around, and she'll be like, and she's seeing and hearing whatever beings are there. And so I know at that time to kind of tune in and check in with what's going on. And yeah, she's very helpful in that way. And so, and the dog even is really holds space for people during energy healings, but she's definitely the space holder, the kind of the balancer of the energies and everything. And if I've got do not disturb on, she will disturb and let me know if there's something here that I need to address. So it's really
The
cool.
emergency alert button.
But
The emergency alert.
yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, and luckily it's normally, light beams and things like that, that she's seen. So it's the dog who, when the energies of like spirits that want to cross over, earthbound spirits, or energies that are ready to shift for their next incarnation come in, he will cower, and I'll be like, what's going on, buddy? and then I'll tune in and, oh, okay, I'm seeing, I'll sense what he's sensing and move him on. So it's just funny. It's great having two companion animals to work with, yeah, they're
Animals
awesome.
are so interesting in that they experience the world more freely than humans do.
Yeah.
And if you can tune into what they're doing or
Hmm.
what they're saying or what they're feeling, it
Hmm.
can really help give you a perspective of what's actually going on. We hear about, dogs can feel earthquakes coming. Well, dogs
Yeah.
can feel a lot of things, even more than
Hmm.
that. They can sense when you're ill, they can sense when um things just aren't right with you.
Yeah.
They
It's amazing. Yeah, he is such a little grounding force for me. I shouldn't say little, he's 60 pounds, but he will, if I'm feeling scattered or something, or I'm anxious or something, he'll come and he'll apply like pressure on me to help shift it, which is lovely. And if I have clients come to the house, he will go over and sit in front of them when they're basically holding space for them as they're either sharing what's going on, or we're doing an emotional release or an energy healing. So it's lovely. Yeah.
So how do you work with clients?
Um, it really depends on what they're coming for. Some people come for just like a um, psychic medium type of session, and so sometimes they're looking for answers, some they're and guidance. I never do predictions. I don't feel that that's right. This is about guidance and giving tools.
Mhm.
And so we'll do those types of things, and also ancestral healing work. It's very interesting because that will come up during sometimes psychic medium sessions. I was working with a client who needed some information on a deceased relative, and then she started asking questions about, her ancestors, or was there any energy that needed to shift? And so I was able to go down the family lines and kind of look at what was going on. So
Mhm.
I'll do those type of sessions. I also work with people. They want to meet their guides and their angels. And so I will connect them in with their guides and angels. And, and sometimes that's more when I've worked with them for, 2 or 3 sessions before. So making sure they're getting out of their own way, because sometimes you're blocked from your guides because of your own, density and stuff that's going on. And sometimes it helps to, move some of that energy before we connect in. but and I do house clearings and blessings. I work with children who are highly gifted,
Mhm.
and really helping them learn to boundary themselves, and just like we have boundaries with other people, you can have boundaries with spirits, and teaching them how to work with the energy, but also do their own self-care, and learning how to ground and connect with nature, really embodying. That's a huge piece of what the work that I do is, first getting people in their bodies, because it's um so important. And this was a lot of me. I It was more fun, and it was my way of escaping the heavy world, was to live in my higher chakras. And I learned that being embodied helped me connect in more, and also, not get sick, or, run into the wall or whatever it was, because, you get ungrounded from doing this work, and then, you can have accidents and things like that. So I do a lot of work with all of my clients from, 9 to 99, about working on the embodiment. And a lot of that is getting out of their own ways. Some people I work with in like 4 session packages. And I always tell everybody, we're not going to solve everything in 4 sessions. It could be 8, it could be 20, but this is how we start. And I'll start with human design, because a lot of people aren't living to who they truly are. And I know I was like that. I studied astrology for 30 years and still didn't know myself. And when I found human design, I felt like I was finally seen. And so a lot of times I'll start there, because it kind of wakes them up to who they truly are, how they're here to be in the world. And then we'll start working on deconditioning through the emotional release technique that I use, and then the spiritual energy healing, so that we can really heal on really a quantum level, where we're not just working on people getting that intellectual information. We're integrating, we're embodying, but we are also healing on all levels. And within that, we may be working on ancestral healing, or working through some past lives, and that all just kind of comes up as each session comes. So there's no real formula to it. It just
Mhm.
kind of it just happens, and it unfolds as needed. It's just, and for me, that's the magic of everything, is that I get to experience it differently with each client. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's a lot of the work that I do. I also do life purpose work. So people who know that there's more for them, I will take them through a life purpose process. But a lot of that, again, is we got to get you out of your own way. And the old conditioning that society, your parents, your partners, your friends have put around you. So yeah, it's exciting, it's fun, it's never the same, and I think that really works well for me. So yeah.
Do you do it mostly online, and is it mostly one-on-one? Or do you do it in person more often?
It just depends. A lot of the stuff is online, because I work with people all around the world.
Mhm.
Um, and uh and we can do all of it online. You can do a spiritual energy healing online.
Mhm.
Um, I start out by having a Zoom call with them, and we'll talk through what's going on, and then I will switch over to the phone with them, or stay on Zoom with them, whatever works best, and have them lie down and do a meditation. And I'll say, okay, I'm letting you go. I'll text you when I'm done. And then we'll connect afterwards. And it's really, what I love about that is, when I'm doing the energy healing work, when the body is not there in the room, it actually connecting in energetically is just amazing. And because the body's not in the way, it's just connecting into the energy. And so, yeah, so a lot of the work that I do is online and one-on-one. I host a monthly or bi-monthly, it just depends on what's going on, um, a a community kind of healing meditation time. It's like a 45 minutes to an hour where we all connect in. It's a free event where we're doing collective healing meditation. So basically
Mhm.
we do a meditation for ourselves and then we do prayers for affirmative prayers for the collective. And people love that. So I do that as a group. I'm also hosting a retreat locally in the Kansas City area in October, and it's going to be a quarterly retreats. And I'm
Mhm.
co-facilitating that with a sound healer here. So I work one-on-one, but I also like to teach and do, retreats in that way, like day retreats, and it's a lot of the work that we're doing in that retreat setting is the general work that I do with clients, but we're working through the chakras. And so we're going to work with the first and second chakra and really focus on those and our self-care around it, foundational work, and all of those within that. And utilizing my background in functional nutrition and my certification, it's called Food and Spirit. I'm a food and spirit practitioner through a Dr. Deanna Minnick. She is a functional nutritionist, amazing person who's bridged science and spirituality. So that is a huge piece of that work. And so we'll be um, eating foods that nourish the first and second chakras. So I don't know, I get so excited about all of the stuff that I get to do, these opportunities and the possibilities of how I can work with clients is just phenomenal.
So what's your favorite thing to do when you're
Oh
working
my
with clients?
Oh, it really changes. It's so funny because I'll be like, I love doing house clearings and blessings and getting to teach people how, empower people to do it on their own.
Mhm.
And teach them how to, um, set boundaries and spiritual self-care and things like that. And then for a while I was doing a lot of energy healings and I'm like, I loved, it's funny because everything kind of goes in cycles. And I love every piece that I get to do, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
And yeah, connecting people with their guides, just really my human design chart is really here to initiate people into their next steps and through intuition. And so getting to help wake people up
Mhm.
and in a loving, heart-centered way, of course, it is amazing to me. And to help them learn how to nourish themselves and take care of themselves, on that, that quantum level, and, mind, body, spirit, soul, but on all of those energetic levels as well. So it's amazing. So yeah, right now, I don't know what's my favorite. All of it. I've really been focused on the retreat, and that piece, but everything, getting to see the aha moments in whatever modality I'm using at the time. And when it really clicks, and then they come back in 3 weeks or a month, and go, I utilized those tools and wow, what a difference it made in my relationships and how I am in the world and how I can be, that's really what drives me, I think.
I get the visual impression of you as a door, and
Mm,
you swing
mhm,
and people experience what they need to experience to step into the room through
mhm,
you. and the
Mm-hmm.
room represents the next opportunity, move, whatever they need to be doing next in their life. And it's different for everybody because, sometimes people just need to look at their past to
Right.
see where they should be moving. Or sometimes people need to connect to their spiritual guides so that they can
Right.
get the download of the next thing they need to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And other people need to clean up their diet because
Yeah.
really everything is so clogged up that they're not
Mhm.
getting any messages from anything and their intuition is all shut down
Right.
because their body is just like in survival mode, and so it can't be
Mm-hmm.
in reception mode. And other times I love your intentional healing, um prayer group meditation, because those are so powerful. I've been part of groups that have done that, and I have experienced personally
Mm-hmm.
healings, like physical healings. I hit my thumb with a pneumatic nail gun once and it went
Mm-hmm.
right to the bone,
Mm-hmm.
and it hurt so bad. And then I had an intention meeting that evening. I had a little brace on it so that I didn't accidentally hit it on anything because the
Right.
pain was just like so intense. After the intentional healing, I could bend it. It was as though nothing had happened. I
Yeah.
mean, that dramatic a shift from
Mm-hmm.
people that were not in my periphery, where they were all over the world,
Yes.
just holding the intention that it would heal. And
Mm-hmm.
it did. And I've seen other experiences. We did these for months, and it was like that power is so incredible. We
Mm-hmm.
have so much power within ourselves. But
Yes.
back to you again, just the holding space for people to be able to move into the next thing, I think is so beautiful. So,
Yeah.
how would you phrase the people that would need your services?
Oh gosh. Uh, those who are looking for the next steps to their beingness and their spirituality and their life purpose, who they're supposed to be in the world and how they're supposed to show up in the world. And it doesn't have to be a career thing. It can just be, I feel really stuck. And so it's just, yeah, putting it out there that way to people to just, yeah, find me. I love your image of the door. I'm here to open that door for you to allow you to find the true, authentic expression of yourself and who you're supposed to be in the world.
And you have the tools to help them in so many different ways. It's not like I often compare this with surgery. If you go to a surgeon,
Mm-hmm.
the solution to whatever is bothering you is going to be surgery.
Mm-hmm.
You're not like that. You're more like, let's come and diagnose what's going on in your life, and I will see if I can't help you identify how you need to best proceed,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll go from there. And with that, I know that you offer, um we call them discovery sessions, but it's really
Uh-huh.
just a chance to chat with you about
Yes.
what's going on,
Mm-hmm.
and whether you guys meld or not in terms
Right.
of being able to actually help them move
Mm-hmm.
into the next step. Or if it's not a fit, you can give them some suggestions of ways that they could work on themselves until they could get to be in the
Mm-hmm.
position where you could actually help them. Is that
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I love it because yeah, sometimes you're not an energetic match at
Mhm.
that time or even an energetic match with me. But I love having the discovery sessions because it's connection and we all need connection. And yeah, if I can't help you, then I can recommend someone else who may be able to, that you can go on their website and see, oh yeah, that feels right for now. And then maybe you do come back to me to do the next layer of work for yourself. So yeah, I do love doing those. And it really does help so that people can kind of try me out in a way, to see what I do, how I work, and if our energy fits together. Yeah, yeah. So I love doing those, and I offer a 30-minute discovery session because I think it's important that we have that extra time. I was finding that the 15-minute ones, it would be 20 minutes into it, I'd be like, oh my goodness, we run over, and everybody's time is important. So I do schedule 30 minutes with people.
You need the first 10 just to get to know each other.
Exactly, exactly. It's so true. My goodness. Because yeah, everybody's kind of feeling each other out or sensing, the energy. So yeah, it takes that long. And then you get into the nitty-gritty and the dark and twisty. So yeah.
Yeah, I love that image, dark and twisty.
Yeah, that it was from Grey's Anatomy. Uh, I can't remember the main character, Meredith, and she was like, their psychologist would talk about, you need to go into your dark and twisty bits, and so I've always loved that because I'm like, yeah, we do. We have to get down and into that nitty gritty and that shadow area where there might be lots of roots down there that we have to kind of navigate through. So. I loved it. Yeah.
We have 4 cats. Well, we had 4 cats. They were
Uh-huh.
little tiny kittens when we got them. My son killed its mother accidentally at his job site. So he put the
Aw.
kittens in his pocket and brought them home to my daughter and I and said, Here, mom. And there's 4 kittens in the palm of his hand.
Uh-huh.
Their eyes had just barely gotten open. So
Uh-huh.
we're talking bottle feeding. All 4 cats made it. My daughter named them all after Grey's Anatomy characters.
Oh, I love that. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. So I
Yeah.
love it. Yeah, yeah. So are they still running around your house?
2 of the 4 are.
Uh-huh.
I
That's
think
awesome.
they'll live very long lives. The other 2, they didn't last.
Uh-huh.
They lasted a year. One lasted a year, one lasted a couple of years,
Uh-huh.
but
Yeah.
they weren't they weren't as intelligent as these other 2.
Okay. They have the other two have a little more street smarts.
Yeah, and they hang around the house more. The other 2 like to adventure out, and if you're
Oh,
an
yeah.
adventurous cat in our neighborhood, you're not going to live
Right.
a really long life.
Exactly. Exactly. That's funny. That's hilarious.
So,
So
yeah. So, what is the one thing that you hope the audience takes away from our conversation, Heather? This has been really an interesting chat.
the one thing that I think I'd like the audience to think about is, this is all inside of you. The magic is inside of you. You just have to um, find the right person to help you unlock it, to help you connect into it, because we all have intuition. We all have these gifts, and they're going to show up differently for each person. So, instead of comparing yourself to, oh, this person has this gift, this person has that one, find what your gifts are, and then find the person who can help you unlock that magic, open that door for you. Go back to your door metaphor. I loved it. And show you the way, and see what happens, and be open. Just be open to it all.
I love that. Thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us for the U World Order Showcase podcast. Remember, if you would like to be featured on this podcast as a life, health, or transformational coach, please visit www.jointheuworldorder.com. We look forward to talking to you next time as we present another life, health, or transformational coach.
being the change they seek in